You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. Yet most never realize where this mastery begins. It is not in the marketplace, not in public victories, not in gold coins counted on heavy wooden tables. It begins in silence, in the private cathedral of your own mind. The world teaches you to perform, to broadcast, to make noise. But the men and women who quietly construct empires know a secret. Wealth is first built where no one sees. The mind in solitude becomes the architect of destiny. There, in the unseen hours, the real battle is fought. There, in the echo of your own thoughts, the future is decided. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying the titans of wealth. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Ford, Edison, and discovered the immutable law that binds them. Success is a mental state before it is ever a material one. It is not circumstance. It is not luck. It is the slow, deliberate weaving of thought into form. And here lies the truth most will never accept. You cannot think like the masses and live like the few. There are codes, silent, invisible, embedded in how millionaires think when the doors are closed, when the lights are out, when the world has turned its gaze elsewhere. It is in these sacred private hours that a different reality is forged. This is not motivation. It is metamorphosis, a slow fire consuming the old self to reveal the new. Today we step into that unseen place together, not to admire from a distance, but to build within it. Because wealth, true wealth, is not seized, it is summoned. In the chambers of thought, in the silence between doubts. In the private architecture only you can construct. Read that again. What you are about to hear is not simply knowledge. It is a mirror held to your mind, so you can finally see the kingdom waiting to be claimed. They will see the mansion. They will see the business. They will see the influence. But they will never see the place where it was truly built. The mind is the workshop, the private forge where fortunes, legacies, and revolutions are first shaped, long before a single brick is laid. Imagine a craftsman in a forgotten workshop, deep in the woods. No path leads to it. No crowds gather around it. Inside, by the light of a single flame, he carves shapes from raw, unformed stone. Day after day, alone, unknown. And yet, in time, the sculptures he creates will reshape the world. This is how the millionaire mind operates in private. Not for applause, not for validation, not even for certainty of reward, but because it knows one eternal truth: thought is the only true beginning. Before Ford envisioned the assembly line, he built it 1,000 times in his imagination. Before Edison captured the electric light, he fought its failures in his own mind for years. Before Carnegie amassed steel empires, he constructed a different reality inside himself, one in which he was already sovereign. They were architects in silence, and their private workshops were the crucible of every public triumph. But understand this, it was not a single flash of inspiration that built their kingdoms. It was a deliberate, almost ritualistic return to that private place, again and again and again, even when doubt clawed at the door. The world rewards visible effort, but the universe rewards unseen persistence. You may hear whispers inside you right now. It's too late. You don't have enough. You're not ready. These are not warnings. They are the raw material. A master craftsman does not curse the rough stone. He sees in it the statue that others cannot yet imagine. And so must you. In the invisible workshop of your mind, you are both the architect and the builder. What you believe about yourself when no one is watching carves the shape of your future. There is a silence you must make peace with. A silence not of emptiness, but of pure potential. In that silence, you will have to choose. Will you build monuments to your fears or cathedrals to your destiny? Both require labor. Both require thought. Both demand belief, but only one will outlive you. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Not might achieve, can achieve. The power is latent. The workshop is already within you. But you must step into it willingly. The gates of imagination do not open for the half-hearted. This is why so few become truly great. They cannot endure the loneliness of building what no one else can yet see. They abandon the work halfway through. They allow the stone to remain shapeless because it is easier than chiseling against the doubts echoing in their own mind. But those who persist, they become the invisible engineers of history. They are the ones who forge wealth, influence, and freedom, first in private, then in public. Look closely at your own life. What private blueprints are you drawing each day? Are you reinforcing the architecture of mediocrity? Or are you, brick by silent brick, constructing a mind capable of sustaining greatness? Every thought you harbor, every belief you tolerate, every dream you allow to breathe within you, they are building something. The question is what? You cannot escape this reality. You are always building. If you do not consciously design your mind, it will default to the architecture of fear, doubt, and regret, a crumbling structure that collapses at the first storm. But if you claim your private workshop, if you step into it daily, deliberately, if you choose to sculpt destiny out of raw uncertainty, then the world will one day stand in awe of what you created long before they ever saw your name. Picture it now, you alone in the workshop, the rough stone before you, the chisel heavy in your hand, the silence dense around you, the vision flickering, fragile but real in your mind's eye. You raise the chisel, you strike, again and again. No applause, no spectators, only the rhythm of creation echoing in the hollow halls of your future. This is the invisible labor of greatness. This is how millionaires think when no one is watching, not with passive hope, but with active construction. They build empires first in private, long before the world ever lays eyes on them. And now, so will you. Because once you understand the truth, you can never return to ignorance. You now know, every day you enter the invisible workshop of your mind, and every thought you entertain is a tool that builds or a tool that destroys. Choose wisely. The chisel is already in your hand, deep, rhythmic, and aligned with the activation flow you outline. There is a moment, silent, invisible, that every self-made millionaire knows well. A moment when the mind stands on the edge of a great divide. One side is fear, the other side is faith, and the bridge between them ... is choice. In the hidden architecture of the mind, fear and faith are twin builders. Both demand belief, both shape reality. Both are fueled by thought. The tragedy is not that people fear. Fear is inevitable. The tragedy is that most invest more energy into their fears than into their faith. Imagine standing at the foot of an ancient bridge. The mists are thick. You cannot see the other side. Fear screams at you from the canyon below. What if you fall? What if you fail? What if you are not enough? Faith whispers, what if you rise? What if you succeed? What if you were born for this? The voice you choose to believe becomes the architect of your future. It is no accident that Napoleon Hill, after decades of studying the world's most powerful individuals, wrote that faith, unwavering belief in unseen realities, was the master key. Faith is the starting point of all accumulation of riches, he declared. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. He did not speak of faith in a religious sense. He spoke of faith as a mental act, a decision to stand in belief when evidence is absent. And here is where the private mind of the millionaire diverges from the masses, where most people allow fear to be their silent architect, shaping tiny, anxious lives. Millionaires choose faith as their builder. They know fear builds prisons. Faith builds palaces. The cost is the same: your energy, your thought, your imagination. The return, however, is worlds apart. Look inside yourself. Where has fear been allowed to build unchallenged? You may think fear is protecting you. You may even tell yourself, I'm just being realistic. But realism rooted in fear is nothing more than elegant self-sabotage. Read that again. Fear carves small rooms. Faith opens wide kingdoms. You do not escape fear by ignoring it. You escape fear by crossing the bridge, by taking action in spite of it. Every fortune that has ever been built began with a mind that chose to believe in a reality not yet visible. The bridge is never fully seen from the starting point. It reveals itself only to those who walk. Imagine now the mist thick around you, the echo of your own heartbeat in the canyon, fear shouting from the darkness below. But still, you take a step, one foot on the trembling wood, then another and another. With every step you take in faith, the bridge strengthens beneath you. What once seemed impossible begins to harden into certainty. This is how empires are built privately, long before they are celebrated publicly. Each act of faith, no matter how small, weaves invisible steel into the architecture of your mind. Hill revealed another crucial truth. Fear and faith cannot occupy the same mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. Every day, every hour, a silent election is held within you. Will you crown fear as king? Or will you enthrone faith as your architect? You may not control the thoughts that come to you, but you do control the thoughts you dwell upon. Millionaires discipline their inner world with ferocity. They refuse to allow fear to linger, to whisper, to build even a single stone in their private workshop. They see fear for what it is, a deceiver, a thief of destiny, a mirage. And they choose relentlessly, ruthlessly, to feed faith instead. They surround themselves with symbols of victory. They rehearse success in the theater of their mind. They act as if the bridge has already been crossed, even when the mist is thick. This is not delusion. This is dominion. Understand this. You will build something in your mind. You already are. The question is whether you are building a throne for fear or a temple for faith. Both require imagination. Both require effort. But only faith will carry you across the canyon to the life you are meant to live. Stand at the divide now. Feel the pull of both forces. Recognize the quiet, powerful truth within you. You have always been the bridge builder. Every time you choose belief over doubt, courage over comfort, vision over visibility, you lay another stone across the chasm. You were never waiting for the bridge. You were always becoming it. Now, take the next step, not because you have no fear, but because you have chosen a better builder. Faith, flowing with depth, symbol, and emotional evolution exactly as designed. Or pause for a quick summary of its emotional and symbolic framing first. If the mind is a workshop and faith is the bridge, then definiteness of purpose is the blueprint. Without a clear, burning aim, the mind drifts. It builds half-finished towers. It constructs bridges to nowhere. Napoleon Hill, in Think and Grow Rich, did not say that success was random. He did not say it belonged to the lucky. He declared with unwavering clarity, there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. Definiteness of purpose, the chief aim, is the internal commandment of every self-made millionaire. It is the code inscribed deep into their private architecture. Without it, talent is wasted, energy is scattered, time is lost. With it, even the smallest, most invisible beginnings can summon empires into existence. Picture it now, an ancient map, fragile, inked with fire. On this map is a single destination. Not 20, not 5, 1. A single star burning in the darkness. The map does not show every mountain, every storm, every river. It shows only the destination and demands faith to fill in the rest. Millionaires carry this map inside them. It is burned into their inner sight. They may not know every step. They may not see every twist. But they know where they are going. And they know why. Contrast this with the masses. Without a chief aim, most people drift like leaves on a river. They are at the mercy of currents they never chose. A job opportunity appears. They drift. A relationship fails. They drift. The news screams louder. They drift. A life without a definite aim is a ship without a rudder. It may be beautiful. It may be strong. But it is doomed to wander the seas until it breaks against unseen rocks. Hill saw this as the greatest silent killer of potential. Indefiniteness, not failure, not defeat. Indefiniteness, the slow, numbing death of drifting without a mission. And so he commanded, fix in your mind the exact thing you desire. Keep your mind closed tightly against all who would discourage you. This is not just advice. It is a survival law. In the private minds of millionaires, there is no room for loose, unfocused dreaming. There is only specific, obsessive, burning vision. They do not say, I want to be rich someday. They say, I will build a business generating $10 million in 5 years by mastering X, Y, and Z. They do not say, I want to be successful. They say, I will become the #1 expert in my field within 36 months, serving this audience, solving this problem with these tools. Specific, concrete, demanding. Because vague dreams produce vague results. Only sharp, burning aims can cut through the fog of distraction and forge the path ahead. Now ask yourself, what is your chief aim? Is it burned into your mind with the fire of obsession? Is it so clear that you could describe it to a stranger in a single breath? Or is it still a mist, a ghost of an idea floating without form? Read that again. The mind needs a magnet, a fixed star, a lighthouse that remains unmoved even as storms rage. Without it, the workshop of your mind becomes a museum of half-built dreams. But with it, every thought, every decision, every action is pulled into alignment, like iron filings to a magnet. You gain momentum. You gain resilience. You gain the ability to suffer setbacks without losing direction, because the map is alive within you. Imagine now, the ancient map inked in fire, the destination burning before you. You step forward, not because the path is easy, but because the destination is non-negotiable. Every obstacle becomes a riddle to solve, not a reason to retreat. Every failure becomes fuel, not a funeral. You are no longer drifting. You are building. You are shaping the invisible structures of destiny with hammer and flame. Understand this. Millionaires are not simply lucky. They are architects of intention. They think in straight lines, not circles. They measure their progress not by how they feel, but by how far they have moved toward their chief aim. They anchor their minds to a future reality so firmly that the present moment bends to meet it. And you, if you have drifted, forgive yourself. You were never taught to sail by stars. You were taught to follow the current, but now you know better. Now you have the fire. Now you can chart the course. Do not wait until the world approves. The world only recognizes results, not dreams. Write your chief aim as if your life depends on it. Because it does. In the invisible workshop of your mind, fix the star. Burn the map. Cross the bridge. Then walk the unseen road with relentless, burning certainty until your dream stands before you, carved in stone. You have always been the architect. Now you are the master builder. Or would you like a quick emotional preview first? In a world obsessed with noise, the rarest signal of true power is silence. Not the silence of hesitation. Not the silence of fear. But the deliberate, sovereign silence of a mind building something too sacred to expose prematurely. The greatest architects of wealth and destiny understand dreams grow strongest in the dark. Like seeds buried deep beneath the earth, visions must germinate away from the scorching winds of opinion, doubt, and noise. Napoleon Hill warned of this danger. Tell the world what you intend to do, but first, show it. Millionaires think in silence before they speak in results. Their dreams are not paraded for public approval. Their plans are not broadcast to gather applause. They move in silence because silence fortifies. Picture it now, a great temple under construction, hidden behind heavy veils. The outside world sees nothing but dust and scaffolding. They scoff. They speculate. They forget. But inside, in the quiet gloom, the master builders work, stone upon stone, inch by sacred inch, until the day the veils fall, and the world stands in stunned silence before a structure it could never have imagined. This is how true wealth, true mastery is built. In deliberate privacy, the immature seek validation. They leak their dreams for approval like water through cracked stone. But the wise, they seal their minds like vaults. They let their silence gather weight, until it speaks louder than any promise ever could. Understand this: speaking prematurely is the death of many dreams. When you expose a vision too early, you invite the energies of doubt, envy, ridicule. These forces may not kill the dream outright, but they weaken it. They dilute the burning clarity you have fought so hard to build. The mind is a sacred temple during the early stages of creation. And temples are not built in the marketplace. They are built in silence, in reverence, in hidden labor. The private thoughts of millionaires are protected by an iron discipline, the discipline of when to speak and when to remain absolutely silent. Reflect now. How often have you spoken your dreams aloud before they were ready? How often have you sought approval before securing results? Each time you do, you give away power. You invite the chaos of outside opinion into the delicate workshop of your mind. Not all advice is wise. Not all attention is support. Read that again. There is a sacredness in working unseen. It allows the dream to grow roots deep enough to weather any storm. Without the burden of expectation, without the distraction of applause, without the corrosion of envy, the most powerful moves are made in silence, not because they are weak, but because they are strong enough to need no announcement. The lion does not announce the hunt. The architect does not describe the temple stone by stone. They act. They build. They reveal only when the work is complete. And by then, the work speaks louder than words ever could. Imagine it, you in the temple of your own making. Heavy stones moved into place in the quiet dark. No one clapping. No one watching. Only the sacred rhythm of creation. Only the voice of your own future self whispering through the chambers. Keep building. They will see when it's time. This is how millionaires think in private. Not by shouting their plans, but by forging them in silence. Understand this final truth of silence. Every silent day you work, you multiply your power. Every silent plan you lay, you sharpen your blade. Every silent victory you stack in secret becomes a fortress no enemy can breach. Speak less, build more, reveal last. There is a voice that echoes within you even now. A quiet narrator weaving the story you call your life. Few realize the most important conversations you will ever have are the ones no one hears. Millionaires know this. They do not leave their inner dialogue to chance. They master their private language the way a warrior sharpens his blade, because thought shapes belief, and belief shapes destiny. Imagine it now. A hidden valley, walled by mountains where sound echoes for miles. A single word shouted there does not fade. It bounces from cliff to cliff, growing louder, stronger, shaping the very air itself. Your mind is such a valley. Every word you speak internally, I can't. I'm not enough. I always fail. Until it becomes law. Until it becomes the architecture of your reality. Napoleon Hill wrote, "You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, because you have the power to control your thoughts." Yet most surrender that power. They let old voices, inherited doubts, buried wounds shape the words they repeat to themselves. Millionaires refuse this surrender. They seize their self-talk by the throat. They choose their private language as deliberately as they choose their investments, their partners, their battles. They understand. The mind does not argue with what it hears repeatedly. It accepts. It obeys. And so they program themselves daily, relentlessly. Their private language sounds different. Where others say, "I hope it works out," they say, I will find a way. Where others say, I'm not good at this, they say, I am learning rapidly. Where others say, success is for people like them, they say, I am exactly the kind of person who succeeds. Not out of arrogance, not out of delusion, but out of conscious construction. They understand the universal law. You become what you consistently tell yourself you are. Reflect now. What is the dominant language of your private mind? Would you speak to a child the way you speak to yourself? Would you build a house with the same cracked bricks you lay in your thoughts? If not, why tolerate it in the architecture of your destiny? Understand this. Millionaires are not fueled solely by opportunity. They are fueled by identity, an identity forged, reinforced, and immortalized by the way they speak to themselves in the dark. When failure strikes, and it will, they do not say, I failed. They say, I am refining my strategy. When fear whispers, and it will, they do not say, I'm not ready. They say, I am preparing faster than fear can follow. When loneliness weighs heavy, and it will, they do not say, I am alone. They say, I am in the sacred season of building what only few will ever understand. Picture it now, the valley of your mind. The first words rising in the mist. Small at first, a whisper. I am capable. It echoes. I am capable, ... I am capable, ... It grows stronger, bolder, until the very mountains tremble. Millionaire thinking is not just about ideas. It is about self-instruction. Every internal phrase is a blueprint. Every repeated belief is a stone set into the foundation of your future. Guard your inner language as you would guard a kingdom. Eliminate the poison phrases. I can't. I'm too late. I'm unlucky. Replace them ruthlessly with power phrases. I am able. My timing is divine. I create my own fortune. Speak as the version of yourself you are becoming, not the version the world once told you to be. Because here's the ultimate truth. Your private words become public results. The silent scripts you rehearse when no one is watching become the visible triumphs the world cannot ignore. Choose now to speak with power. To program your mind as an architect, not a victim. To echo only what strengthens, what expands, what builds. Every word is a seed, every repetition a root, every belief a future. The millionaire's mind is not made in a moment. It is sculpted, word by word, in the silence where no applause reaches. And so is yours. Speak now, within yourself, as the king, the queen, the builder you truly are. Let the echoes of greatness fill the valley. Or would you prefer a short emotional preview of the final movement, the applause, the criticism, the questions, the doubts? Only one thing will remain, what you built within. In the final measure, you will not be judged by how loudly you spoke, nor how urgently you chased. You will be measured by the invisible structures you cultivated inside yourself, the resilience, the vision, the certainty that no storm could touch. This is the true legacy of the millionaire mind, an inner world so deliberately constructed that the outer world eventually bends to match it. Picture it now, an ancient mirror, hidden in the vaults of time. You stand before it. But this mirror does not reflect who you are now. It reflects who you chose to become. Every thought a chisel stroke, every belief a carving deeper into the future. And in the glass, you see it. Not the version of you that the world expected, but the version you demanded of yourself when no one was watching. Understand this final truth. The private mind is the true cathedral. All wealth, all success, all greatness flows outward from the architecture you craft in silence. Not from luck, not from inheritance, not from approval, but from the sacred daily labor of building belief where there once was doubt, of setting foundation stones of discipline where there once was distraction, of raising pillars of courage where there once was fear. This is the silent empire millionaires build. And it begins and ends with thought. Reflect now. What structures are you building inside yourself? Are they strong enough to endure storms yet to come? Are they vast enough to house the life you were destined for? If not, start today. No announcement, no permission, no hesitation. Just the quiet, deliberate work of the true builder. You are not starting from nothing. You never were. Within you has always been the blueprint, the map inked in fire, the valley where echoes carve mountains, the bridge suspended in mist. You were born with the materials of greatness. You were simply waiting for the day you will begin to work with conscious hands. Today is that day. When the dust settles, when the veils fall, when the noise fades, the world will ask, where did this kingdom come from? And only you will know. It came from the workshop no one saw. It came from the bridge you crossed alone. It came from the words you spoke to yourself in the silent chambers of becoming. It came from the invisible architecture of your mind. So build, not for applause, not for permission, not even for certainty. Build because it is who you are. Build because it is what you were born for. Build because the future you, the one waiting in the ancient mirror, is calling you forward. And you have heard the call. You've carried the code all along. Now you have the key. Use it.